What's going on, guys? Welcome to Gunchuck Gaming. I'm Tito Rosado, and today we are joined by my little brother, Robby Rosado.
How's it going?
I bet you can guess because of the last name, right?
No.
So before I started this channel, Robby was obviously the one I talked to about gaming all the time. So, it only made sense to bring him on here so we can cover some of the news, some of the latest stuff that's been going on that we want to talk about. So, what do we have first, Robby?
So starting us off, we actually have some news that Sony is apparently working on an alternative to Xbox Game Pass. I know this is something that's kind of been talked here and there for a while, but they've had some stuff in the past that made it seem like that's not a huge interest in them. What are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, with their PlayStation Now service that they've had forever, and they feel like they haven't really put a lot into it. And I think they got to be really feeling the heat with Xbox, like in the news. It's like every week. Oh, this new thing for Game Pass, this new thing for Game Pass. And every single place is like the best, deal in gaming. Like, how are they not thinking of something? So I guess, my first question even to you would be like, do you think they're going to take the PlayStation Now brand and expand it into something that can compete with Game Pass? Or do you think they're legit just going to like hit us with something new?
It would be a very Sony thing to still stick with something that has a bad reputation and try to increase it. I think their best move would be take what's already in PlayStation Now, get rid of the streaming stuff, or keep it there for like experimental stuff, but just take all of that and put it to a different name and add your back catalog and some exclusives if they can. But that, to me, their best bet is adding a back catalog of their like OG titles. But with some recent news about like PlayStation shutting down the PS3 store and the Vita store, I'm not sure if that's a priority for them. So I don't know what the thinking is exactly of how they're going to really compete, because they don't have the money of Microsoft. They can't afford to just buy Bethesda.
No, not at all. Not at all. They don't have the money. They don't have that Microsoft money. And like you said, they're kind of competing this whole console war in a completely different way, right? Like Xbox is all about supporting their backwards compatibility within the Xbox Series X within all their consoles. They want them all to play together, right? And Sony's like, nah, you buy our $500 box, you just play that box. You don't need the old box. Yeah. Old box sucks. New box, cool. That's their motto. But I feel like, for them to come out with a Game Pass competitor, it's just they can't launch all their first parties into it, right? Like Xbox came out the game hot with that. Like every first party, which first we're like, what first party games?
Oh, Halo.
Now thankfully we're finally gonna get a lot, with all the new studios they've bought. But like, do you think PlayStation is gonna ever include any of their first parties, or maybe they'll include older ones, or how do you think they're gonna do that?
I would think they would definitely include their older ones, because they've done that with like Horizon Zero Dawn and a lot of their PS4 library when the PS5 just came out like recently. But I don't know, I don't know if they have a desire to go in deep into their old catalog, just because we'll get into it later when we talk about the Last of Us remake. But it seems like they're putting more of a focus just on AAA. Like if it doesn't make us a lot of money, they're not interested as much. So I'm not sure if that's something that they're even really looking towards. Like, oh, let's get these, obscure like games and resurrect them, like a Sly Cooper or something like that. Something we have that fans will love, that'll gravitate them towards us, when in reality, they don't seem interested in it.
Yeah, and I just don't understand that. Like, you have IPs that people would love if you would like bring them back into the game. Like, it just makes no sense. But yeah, I think they're just comfortable with getting the $70 per game, because they obviously sell them very well, right? For some of those big games, they make a lot of money off of them. So I don't think that it seems financially smart to them. And like you said before, they don't have Microsoft money. They're not a $1 trillion company.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't foresee that happening as well. But I think they know they got to come out with something. Like, that is the future, right? For how long have people been wondering, when are we going to get a Netflix of gaming? We have it. Game Pass is truly the closest thing.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
And I just think it's going to continue to like take off, right? Like, and if PlayStation doesn't come out with something, they're gonna fall behind a little bit. Not that like PlayStation's gonna fall off, right? They're not gonna go away. People love them, and they will love them forever.
Yeah. If Nintendo can stay this long, I think
like,
Sony's gonna be okay.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see. I'm sure, hopefully more news will come from this sooner or later. I feel like everybody's going to keep asking that question. When is Sony going to answer back? And I'm sure we can speculate for a long time of what that answer is going to look like. But I think you nailed it, Robbie, with the sense of they got to get rid of PlayStation now. I mean, if they keep it, it goes on the back burner until it dies. That's what, just like they did with the Vita, right? Put it on the back burner and then you can kill it. But like, I don't know. They got to give a new name, something else to get in the headlines, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because no one's going to be attracted to PS Now, even if it was on par with Game Pass. I guarantee it. People would not be super hyped on it, or like it wouldn't get as much attention if it has that name.
No, not at all. It already has a bad reputation. I'm like, I don't want to deal with the service. Most people I know who've like used the service like, it's okay. Like, it's just not great.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. What do we got next?
All right. So on the topic of Sony. So as we were talking about a little bit before, they are apparently trying to do a Last of Us remake. It's currently in development, and also a beeline story of that is that Days Gone 2 pitch was completely rejected in a similar case of the fact that they wanted to take members of their team and put them towards the Last of Us remake. And what do you think about remaking a game that's like what?
Oh God.
2013 it came out, so was it like 8 years ago?
Oh, we're gonna remake the remake in a sense. Like, we already got a remaster, right? We technically got a remaster from PS3 to PS4.
Yeah.
And then, they technically haven't done anything with the original Last of Us or PS5. I know they've done some tweaks on Last of Us 2, but like,
yeah,
I think I'm in agreement with most people of why.
It's
Actually,
so early.
It's why do we need this, right? We know we don't need this. Like, I have no interest in this. I love The Last of Us. I love The Last of Us 2. I think they're amazing games.
Mm-hmm.
I have no interest in a remake of The Last of Us.
At all. This would be like if after Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, Rockstar was like, okay, so actually we're going to be working on a Red Dead Redemption 1 remake because we want to get this thing up to snuff and just keep remaking the same game for like 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
So it feels like, what are you doing?
It makes no sense. I mean, but sadly, I sit here and I say, why? Why would they do this? Because I don't want it. But deep down, I think we all kind of know the reasons why. And it is because Sony they're about to come out with that Last of Us show. They're doing through, is it HBO, right?
Yeah, HBO. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, HBO. So, like, they want to come out with the remake so it can play off the show. And people love nostalgia. They'll eat that crap up. But it's just, all those people working on that could have given us a brand new IP, right?
I know.
Brand new IP, or maybe given us that, I can't even think of the name of the game. The other zombie game you just said. Too many zombie games.
Like a sequel to that. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Sadly, Days Gone is a game I've never played. I mean, it looked cool, and I was always interested in it, but I was like, I'll wait till it comes in the PlayStation Plus subscription, and I think it did, and I think I just forgot to download it. That's how much I care about this game. But I'm still kind of like, maybe the second one would have been even better, right? At least it's still something different that they're putting into it. Or, like I said, a completely different IP, completely new IP, rather than going to Days Gone. But, because did you see that they kind of did talk about, like, their vision for the second Days Gone was supposed to be, like, kind of a shared world thing that they were looking at doing?
Oh, really? No, I didn't get too deep into what Days Gone 2 was going to be before essentially everybody left because they got hedged to do the Last of Us project. So.
Yeah, so that was some of the stuff I heard about the pitch, that it's supposed to be like an online kind of shared world thing. Who knows? I mean, granted, shared world stuff doesn't always go the best, so who knows? Maybe it could have bombed.
Yeah.
But in general, I don't want a generation of just remakes. Like, for some of the remakes we get, cool, like, great, right? When we got Crash and we got Spyro, thank you, amazing. But like, we don't need all this other stuff. Like, it's just. It kind of feels lazy. I don't know. Do you like think it's them kind of being lazy, or do you know it's an easy cash grab?
It's a little bit of both, and they're not realizing that the reasons why remakes are sought after, why we always like see them popping up, is because these are games that are missed by the community on some level. Whereas we have not had nearly enough time to miss The Last of Us. The second game just came out last year, and the first game is only like I said, 8 years old. We don't have any time to breathe and be like, man, I really missed that game. I want to play that again. Like at least even like with Mass Effect, that came out at least like what 2008, 2009. Like the first game particularly was super buggy, so that's why they're remaking it with the other two just to give it a little polish to throw on the new consoles. And it makes sense because it's like, okay, this game could use some serious improvement. Let's give it that. Last of Us still has not aged really at all. If you're talking about the PS4 remaster, it still looks.
It still looks gorgeous. It still looks great. Yeah. Like you could have come out with that game this generation. I'd be like, good job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we don't need a remake. I get it. Yeah, cool. You can make it look as good as The Last of Us 2. Awesome, but I just don't need it. I don't need it. No. Don't want it.
Now, when Last of Us 3 comes out, then maybe that would make sense to put a remake of the first one, then you sell it as a trilogy, bada boom, make $70, but...
Yep. Bada bing, bada boom, get the money.
Exactly.
All right, well, yeah, if you guys can't tell, we think it's a stupid idea, so let's go to the next news segment.
Yeah, let's get off this thing. Stupid. Alright, so E3 2021 is officially happening. Xbox and Sony are planning to be making some appearances, but no sign of Sony. Which, I swear we're not an Xbox podcast. I know we're kind of hating on Sony right now, but... what do you think about
that's
Sony
the problem with the news. That's what Sony needs to change. It's not our fault that they're making some dumb decisions, right? I'll gladly talk about positive things they're doing. Give me something.
Please. Release a God of War or something. I want to talk good about you, but...
Oh, God. I can't wait. But yeah, I think it is kind of no surprise that Sony's not going to show up to E3 again, especially this year being all digital. But I hope at some point E3 gets back to doing like normal shows. How many times did me and you talk about one day we're gonna go, right? And then literally when we finally get older and we have money and we're like, cool, we can spend and go. They're like, nah, it's done.
Closed.
Yeah. But I will say for me though, going through last year having no E3, I kind of hated how spread out and how many millions of different venues. There was Summer of Gaming, Gaming Fest, Gaming Party. It was just, it was so many things. It was like, felt like every day there was a news, it was a bunch of crap that had like tiny little blurbs of things that were just kind of interesting. I don't know. Yeah. I miss the weekend of just bangers, right? Like nonstop, the conferences, the Microsoft conferences, the Sony conference, like it was just, I miss that excitement. I don't know. What did you think of last year going through with no E3?
I agree where like everything was too spread out. We got things like the Resident Evil announcement where it was like a 30-minute like press conference about one game that just like why are we doing this? Like we just show us like a little demo maybe for like 5-10 minutes. That's cool. But like everyone's taking advantage of let's just make this drawn out conference for just a couple announcements because it's September and there's nothing going on. So we can get the top headline. It makes sense business-wise to have all these spread out, but I just want my weekend of fun, I want it to be summer. Like I said, that E3 weekend, call out of work, I'm sick, and let me just binge all that. But I don't know. I think it's just like something like Blockbuster. I think it might just be a thing of the past, but we can at least grab onto what we have left with the virtual conferences, and then hopefully maybe next year we'll at least get some form of them in person, like with Xbox at least, in my opinion, because I think they're still about having the event.
Same, and I'm hoping at least with E3 actually having a digital appearance this year. They had no appearance last year, so at least them having a digital appearance, maybe that'll at least get some of the other people to collectively try to do things around that time frame, whether it's right before, right after, or during. So it's just an unbelievable amount of news that comes through just within that weekend. So I'm hoping that'll change the course of it compared to last year, because last year, like we said, it's just too drawn out. And hopefully we're back to actually getting people. And once they do start inviting people again, I hope they look to kind of rework how they want to do E3. Do you remember, I think was it last year, 2 years ago, where there was that thing floating around of like kind of not their mission statement, like what they were changing for E3, where it was like, we're going to have influencers come and you can play basketball with this guy because he's really cool. Like it sounded terrible. Like, we're going to have experiences while you're in line. Like I was like, maybe I don't want to go to E3.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm hoping that they get it back to just being like a regular, just simply a place to show video games and show gaming news, and for a community to kind of, come together.
I agree. Could have said it better, and
yeah,
I hope for the best.
We'll see. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. E3, give us something good.
Yeah,
hopefully.
Please.
Okay, what we got next, Rob?
All right, so apparently there's some rumors going on that Xbox and Kojima might be doing a little bit of collaboration. If you keep up with anything Phil Spencer Xbox, you'll know that recently the Xbox One Series S was kind of in the background of one of his videos, and that's how it ended up being kind of leaked ahead of time. Now apparently there was a statue of, I believe it's the Kojima Productions logo, just standing right there. And so that's having people speculate if maybe Kojima's gonna, switch over to Xbox, because he is independent. He's not tied to Sony. They did help him with Death Stranding, but what do you think about it?
I mean, I think it'd be a baller move on Kojima's part. He's like, I went to Sony, got a little something from Sony. Now let me go get a little something from Xbox now that I'm on my own. But I was reading a little more into it as well, and seeing that I believe Sony was kind of hesitant because Death Stranding didn't perform the way they wanted it to perform. While it had a lot of hype, I think it didn't necessarily sell and be that big production that was going to last forever, become a new huge IP. I know some people out there love it. Once again, I love how we're talking about all games. I've played a million games, but the games we're talking about I haven't played. This game, it just didn't look interesting to me. I'm sorry. If you love it out there, cool. Maybe one day I'll try it. It just seemed like a glorified walking simulator. That's what it seemed like to me. If it's more than that, cool. But I don't know. Did you play Death Stranding?
No. I'm waiting for Game Pass, because I think regardless of what happens with Kojima and them, I think it's coming to Game Pass guaranteed. I could put a guarantee on that. I don't see any world where it doesn't come to Game Pass.
You heard it here, folks. That's a Robby Rosado guarantee. No, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I think that would just make sense. I mean, with it going to it's on PC, so obviously it's not just exclusive to PlayStation. I'm sure they don't have the deal for long. But I think Phil Spencer, man, that man is putting in work, and it's hilarious how ever since the Xbox Series S was on his shelf, now everybody's combing his shelf
Every little
for
thing.
what could be. Yeah. What news do I have to give away? You guys will never know. Any of these could be secrets. But I'm excited at the thought of it, because obviously he was, visionary behind Metal Gear Solid. So if he can take any of that and give Xbox something great, I think it'd be cool. Maybe we get the whole, oh my goodness, why am I blanking on the name of the creators who made Spider-Man for PlayStation?
Oh, Insomniac?
What's that?
Insomniac?
There we go. Yeah, my brain was not working. Give us the whole Insomniac, gave us our game at Xbox, and then they went to PlayStation and made a better game. They gave us Sunset Overdrive, which was great. I love Sunset Overdrive. If you haven't played it, go play it. It's a great game. Yeah, it's an amazing game.
So good.
It's the bones of Spider-Man, and then they took those bones and they put a lot of flesh on it, and then you got Spider-Man. But what if Kojima does that, right? He makes a good game, PlayStation, good game according to some of you guys. I don't know, I haven't played it. But then he comes to Xbox and just gives us a banger. That would be amazing.
Plus, I think Xbox is extremely attractive to Kojima, because something like Death Stranding could have probably done even better on something like PlayStation if it had the Game Pass. I don't want to say hype, but it had the train of Game Pass to where everyone could play it day one, and you get that promotion if you're a big game on Game Pass usually with all the social medias and stuff. Whereas PlayStation, I mean, they did some little, oh, what is this mystery box? You gotta wait, and you gotta figure this out, this little stupid puzzle. Figure out what this game means. What's the baby? What is going on with that?
Oh my god, the baby.
Oh, the baby. But I think this just makes a lot of sense for Kojima. Also, just throwing another speculation out there, because I heard someone mention this. What if, because Kojima is by himself, and Konami is interested in licensing their projects or their IPs, Xbox could just be like, hey, that Metal Gear Solid, we got the guy. He wouldn't mind
Yeah.
making another one, but we'll just take the IP from you. You get a little cut, you know what I'm saying? And then, Metal Gear Solid 6 exclusive. But I'm just talking.
That'd be amazing. That would be amazing. You know how much people would freak out if that could happen.
They would lose.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
But no, you make a great point about what Game Pass does for games, and I think a lot of other even third-party developers, right? Just seeing Outriders launch into Game Pass, like that's a huge win for Outriders. Has been talked about so much, where I don't think it would be as talked about if it didn't launch into Game Pass. I don't think as many people would be playing it. I try to play it, but I get kicked out every friggin' 10 minutes, but that's another story in itself. But, I feel like other developers have to be taking notice. And have you heard, too, I've seen some devs speak to the money they've made off being on Game Pass. Like, people think, like, oh, it goes in Game Pass, you make no money. No, you do. Because, yeah, granted, it doesn't always last forever, but then before it goes away, that runs a discount. And what they've seen, too, is a lot of people are double dipping if games are in other ecosystems. So they're like, cool, I really like playing it on Game Pass. Now I'm going to buy it on Switch. Now I'm going to buy it here, whatever it may be. So I just think, Game Pass it's truly changing the industry. It's going to be exciting to see.
It is.
If Kojima's there too, they're good. Sign the check, Phil. Sign the check, Phil. Keep signing those checks with that
Whatever he
Microsoft
wants,
money.
blank check.
Oh man, yeah, that'll be exciting. All right, what's next?
All right, so you know a little about this more than me. Apparently, EA has a patent for the adaptive difficulty system that apparently adjusts to keep you playing longer. Which that title alone just makes me think, EA, they want you to play longer and spend more money.
I remember when this patent first came out. I think it was a couple years ago that EA had filed it, and thankfully nothing has come of it, at least so far that we've seen. I don't know, maybe they're hiding it in some other games, but now it's kind of resurfacing of ways that they're looking to do it, where the game would self-adjust itself based on how you play to make the game more difficult, so the game takes you longer. Just sounds bad, right? Yeah, it just sounds. It's the same thing. Like, it reminds me of, I don't know if you saw the patent that Sony had filed, where it was like it kind of coordinates with some of the PS5 stuff, where it's like you can get like the gaming hints, right, with the PS5, like the things to help you. But they even talked about where it's like, oh, you're playing a game and the game notices you're having a tough time. It's like, hey, pops in, you could buy this $5 DLC sword, and this sword's really good for you to like, I remember seeing some of those patents, and I'm like, this is hell. Like, this is once again mobile game crap getting more sophisticated into our consoles. But hearing EA coming up with a patent to make a game harder, I hate that idea. I just think it's not, I feel like game devs make a game a certain difficulty based on how they believe the game should be, right? And I think there's been big conversations about that in general, right? People are like, there shouldn't be options for game difficulty. Like, if the game gives you the option, it gives you the option. Whatever, the dev wants you to play it the way it wants. But to have a game literally change itself so you play longer and get more frustrated, I just think it's terrible.
I completely agree. I think it's very reminiscent of, I want to say it was Shadow of War. I'm not sure what property that is, but it had a similar concept where when it first came out, to get to the end of the game, either you had to be ridiculously good or grind, or you could just spend like a couple dollars and then you could just get to the end of the game. And that didn't go over well. So I don't know how EA thinks they can implement this without getting a ton of backfire. But they're EA. They love squeezing you of all your money.
That's what they do. And not only from Shadow of War, but even like, I can't stand when a game like, even like Assassin's Creed, like the day it comes out, they're like, hey, buy this thing and you're gonna get experience points faster, so you can get through the game. Like, the day it comes out, you can buy it. I'm like, and they specifically make the games grindier. Once again, it's mobile game tactics coming into your console, now $70 video game. They've already got $70 out of you. All the tactics they're using are what's used in a free-to-play game. So it's
exactly.
It's dumb.
Stupid.
But hopefully it doesn't come into play, or hopefully they receive a lot of backlash, which would be great. But who knows? Because I feel like EA gets all the backlash, gets all the hate, and they still come out with the same crap. Just at least do one thing. Don't mess up the new Battlefield. All right, EA, you completely ruined Battlefield 5. Give us a good Battlefield. That would be great. And don't implement any of this crap.
Yeah.
I'm not holding my breath, though, because then I'll die. Next story.
I want to breathe. All right. So our next and potentially last story is apparently something's going on between Microsoft and Nintendo, kind of harkening back to when we talked about the Kojima collaboration, because he had a little statue. Well, in a similar clip, he had a Nintendo Switch on the back of his whatever wall of mystery, if you want to call it. And so I thought some people were reaching too deep into this, but apparently there's a credible source that's saying there's some levity to this.
Yeah, it's a guy who is like, they call him semi-creditable or semi-reputable source. Yeah, sure. Is saying that I think to quote him, he said, "The cat's out of the bag with Microsoft and Nintendo. More to come in fall, autumn." There we go. That's what he said. More to come in autumn. So of course, as you said, everybody's speculating. What could this mean? What are they gonna do? For a while there, people were thinking that Game Pass was gonna come on Nintendo Switch. I'm still hoping, maybe. That would be cool. Because to me, like, that would make a lot of sense, because I think the way that Xbox is playing at things is that they're looking at, okay, we're not going to make a handheld, so let's just take what we do great and we'll put it on your handheld, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's where, that's where they're, and even within like cell phones, with them doing xCloud, right? They're like, instead of that, we're just going to give you this. And I think even looking at for, once again, another story we can get into, but with Xbox not wanting to make their own standalone VR headsets, I'm waiting for the day for them to be like, hey, your Oculus Quest now works on your Xbox Series X, and we'll all rejoice. But, we'll see when that day comes. But where does your head go when you first hear that Xbox with Nintendo? What do you think's happening there?
So, I mean, obviously, first thing is, Game Pass on Nintendo, but I see that being too much of a clash for Nintendo's brand, where I don't know they want something that big on their platform, because I think that's taking away money from them, unless there's some lucrative deal where they get a certain cut of all the revenue from Game Pass. Then that would make more sense, because like, okay, free games, just like throw them on here. Also, just because of this picture I'm seeing right now, they could do some collaboration with their IPs, because the whole weird thing with Nintendo and Rare, how like they're not together anymore, but like they get together, maybe we could get some, I don't know,
that would be amazing.
Some Banjo, some some of their classic IPs, Donkey Kong Country, or what was it? Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That would be amazing, especially if they can collaborate and get where Xbox has been playing nice and putting some of their games on the Switch, right? From Ori, I believe Ori Will of the Wisp has gone there. So maybe some Nintendo stuff can make its way to who knows? I mean, I think sky's the limit, especially seeing that Nintendo has been more open to things more than they have in the past. Like, even seeing when they did that like Rabbids Mario collaboration, like Mario never collaborated with nothing. He didn't need to. He's Mario. But I think hopefully we get something cool. I think if we can get anything Xbox on the Switch, that'll be great. I think worst case scenario, and I hope this isn't the case, just some new Super Smash Brothers thing.
Oh my god.
Like, while I think it'd be cool, like, obviously I think, hello, I will champion Master Chief should be in Super Smash Brothers. Why is he not? He's an icon. Yeah. Like, that's kind of a given. But yeah, I want something more exciting, something more going on. But we'll see what they bring to the table. But I don't know.
Oh.
I'm sure we'll get more and more. People are going to speculate it to hell, and you're going to see a million different possible things coming out of it. But let's just hope for Game Pass on Switch. We will say it into existence.
Exactly. And at the very worst, let's just get some IP collaboration.
Yeah.
Xbox got a lot of studios. They could just get a couple little Nintendo IPs, throw it on there. Oh, nice.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah. Perfect. Well, I think that's all we had for you guys today. You know, like we said, not trying to hate on Sony, but man, Sony's had a lot of negative news lately, so hopefully we'll have some positive things to come out of it. But looking forward to giving you guys some more information coming up here soon. We're looking at potentially getting some of these videos going weekly so we can capture some of the news from the previous week and continue to bring it to you so you can stay up to date. But thank you, Robby, for joining me.
Not a problem.
Fun time. And thank you guys for checking us out. Do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and have a great day. Thanks, guys.